Hello, everybody, and welcome to Building Wealth Together. Back to the basics. It is a super Saturday. Looks like we're gonna get a break here, just a little bit, few hours. So go get some sunshine on your face here in Texas before the rain comes. It's like been raining 3 weeks, y'all. Have it or about a month?
Yes.
Yep. Hey,
Yes.
you better take it when you can get it, because it'll be 2 weeks from now. They talking about we're in the drought.
Right. We can't cover like 4 seasons in 2 weeks, actually 2 days here in Texas. But
Yes.
I'm your host, Roz B, as Roz B, along with these other super amazing hostesses and host, Mr. Chris. Yes. And we are here doing our thing each and every Saturday, first, second, third, fourth Saturdays of the month. And we just want to help people build wealth and get back to the basics and credit, insurance, real estate, and mortgage, holistically, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Because what good is it to be a millionaire if the mind is poor? So we try to touch every avenue of being wealthy, and healthy is a state of mind. Health is our wealth. And we are definitely going to cover that today with our outstanding guest, Mr. LeRoy Wilkerson. And we have our very own Chris Ziegler, who is going to be moderating, and we're just going to chime in. But I am your principal broker, CEO of Arbrook Realty, where we birth dreams and legacies in real estate. And yes, even in this seller's market, we are doing that for home buyers who have said yes to still building their legacies. We're going to walk with them every step of the way. So I just want to go around the room and introduce the team. I hear Rhonda. She's roaring loud.
Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday. My name is Rhonda Hutchison. I am the Lone Lioness with PRMG, Paramount Residential Mortgage Group. Listen, I roar with passion and power, and I'm passionate about bridging the gap between renting and home ownership. So, look, I'm looking for those who are on the prowl along with me. Let's link arms together and let's bridge that gap between renting and home ownership and build generational wealth. I'm excited to be here today. If you need to reach me, and of course, we'll give our numbers later on, call me at 214-856-3747. I love to speak with you and being able to guide you through that process to build legacy today. Mr. Chris?
Hey guys, I'm Chris Ziegler with the Ziegler Agency Allstate, located in Frisco, Texas, and I'm excited to have my cohort in arms, Mr. LeRoy. I almost said LeRoy Wilkerson. Y'all kept saying we were joking so much, I almost said it. But I'm happy to have him on the show today. But I'm Chris Ziegler once again with the Ziegler Agency Allstate, located in Frisco, Texas, where I serve the DFW Metroplex and the whole state of Texas. I do it from stem to stern, from your personal lines like your home, your auto, your renters, your toys like your RVs and your motorcycles, as well as your personal things as far as your life insurance and many, many more things, commercial and business as well. So I'm excited to have Mr. LeRoy here. And I can be reached at 214-870-4269. And I would be remiss, man, we had an awesome turnout last week before the drive. Got plenty of things that we donated to the organization. People are still bringing stuff out of office, and people are sending money and checks as well to donate. So I'm excited about that, and I think we're gonna help a lot of people. And I'm gonna punt it over to Melly Mel.
See, I thought I was free from that this time because Bras wasn't. I was okay. I got y'all.
Oh, we got a few more to add on. You just wait.
Yeah. You ain't kidding. That's just
I got my favorite hat on today, so I'm gonna go with. You know what? I appreciate you guys. I'm so happy to have LeRoy Wilkerson with the Wilkerson Insurance Agency on. LeRoy's been a longtime friend, and he has worked with me on my insurance personally, and so I can vouch for that as well. So looking forward to a great show. I am Melanie Williamson, and I work in credit education. I am one of those that like to bridge community with credit. If I can educate and just help one person to be successful in their financial credit foundation, hey, that's amazing. So just being able to collaborate with companies like White Jacobs and Associates, P31 Resource Networking is just out there, just boots on the ground, working with people like these beautiful and amazing colleagues that I see in front of me right now on this Zoom call. And I look forward to this amazing show. And let's get into this health insurance. Your health is your wealth. So I'm going to punt it over to back to Chris.
All right, as we know, we like to do with the show, we're going to start off with a prayer because without him, nothing would be possible.
Nothing.
Let's close our eyes, our head. Heavenly Father, first and foremost, thank you for letting us be here for another glorious Saturday. And just the fact that you've given us this opportunity to be in a situation to have a show that we know has been a blessing because people have told us that. And that's our whole purpose, is to educate and to make sure we communicate to help people to grow and to be successful in all their endeavors personally and professionally, if that's what they're trying to do. We thank you, Father God, for having LeRoy on the StreamYard and Facebook with us today, to God. We ask you to use him as a vessel to help people to understand, about your health is your wealth, and to guide them in the right direction and then put resources in front of them that are going to be beneficial to them as well, to God. Dear God, we just thank you. We see some of the numbers are getting better with COVID, but we're still not out of the woods yet. We just want people to be vigilant and to be respectful of others as well, and just to be on their P's and Q's and making sure they're doing the things they need to do in order to be safe and healthy for all who are out there. We thank you, Father, for all that you do on a daily basis. We ask you to order our steps. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
But Mr. LeRoy, I'm so excited to have you on here today. And like I said, we were talking about when I give you my introduction to what I do. LeRoy focuses mostly on health insurance, but like I said, a lot of stuff kind of overlaps because your health is your wealth. And if you don't have good health, that could impact you in other ways too, with your home and your auto. It could affect some other things as well. It could affect your credit too, because if you get sick, you don't have the right coverages and health coverages as well like that, that can matriculate into some other things as well. So I'm going to punt it over to LeRoy, let him talk a little bit about himself, what he does. And he's an amazing person. I just met him just recently here, in the last couple of days, but I already got his phone number because I said I'm going to pick his brain. He seems like a bright individual. So I'm always trying to surround myself with people who are awesome. And a little bit I found out about him. I'm trying to get his footsteps already. So LeRoy, go ahead and take it away.
Hey, thank you, Chris. My name's LeRoy Wilkerson. I am the founder, owner, and broker, Wilkerson Insurance Agency. We primarily focus on health insurance. We're in the small group market, the individual market, the people that are self-employed. And our goal is to just make sure people understand what their options are when it comes to health insurance. That's one part, understanding what options are available to you. The other thing, the key thing is, once that option is made available to you, then what's in that package? When you open it up, what does all that stuff really, really, really mean, and how does it work? So we work hard to make sure that we hold your hand and that you understand. So people come back and say, wow, nobody ever taught me that. Wow, nobody ever said that. Wow, I never thought about it like that. Whoa. Because most people have been taught to shop by looking for the lowest price. And I always say, you can get the lowest price and that's fine. I like a good bargain as well. But when you get home, do you have what you really need? And if you've accomplished that, then you've done well, no matter if it's homeowners insurance, what Chris offers, or if it's health insurance or anything else. So my goal is to make sure that we find a plan that meets the budget, number one, because if you can't afford it, you're probably not going to keep it, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Number two, that when you go to see your providers, that the plan performs in a manner in which you anticipated. Most of the time, people just go and say, oh my God, I went to the doctor and I didn't know it was going to be this. I didn't know it was going to do that. Oh, and then it just creates a lot of confusion, complexity, and then they get frustrated about it. So we say we take the hell out of health insurance. We really want to remove all that fog away to make sure that I have people really happy about buying health insurance. Nobody wakes up in the morning and say, wow, I can't wait to go buy some health insurance, right? Nobody does that. But after they talk to me, they go, man, I am so glad that we talked, because even if we don't do business together, they're well informed and they understand, and they don't feel like it was somebody just trying to sell them something. Right. That is never my goal. One of the things I take pride in is I'll have a discovery conversation and an education opportunity with people, and then they will ask me for the product. I don't have to ask them to buy. And I love that. If I do a good job by making sure I understand what your needs are and I understand what your budget is, and I help you to align that with my products or services, then they'll say, man, well, let's do that. What's the next step? Or how do I get it? Or what do we do? And that just feels great because people already don't want to be sold, but they really want to understand that somebody cares. Somebody's really explaining, really taking the opportunity to make sure. And then at some point, things change in life because they do. Just keep living if you don't think they haven't. The plan is not fitting quite like, sometimes you have those shoes and they man, they're getting a little tight. You have that skirt, it don't fit quite the same. You have to make some changes, right? So sometimes that happens in the health insurance arena. It does. It's just man, this is not quite fitting. So if I do a great job on helping you get that, you're not going to run back to Google and say, man, I got to get something different. That's not working. You just come back to us and say, hey, we tried this one. We've had it 2 years, 3 years. Our family is changing. This has changed, whatever. Then what else do you offer? And so that's where my brokerage come in. We're licensed here in Texas, and where our business is here in Texas, but we're in 26 states. So there's many plans out there. We have a lot of them that we know that helps to fit the mold of many. So that's it. I hope that explains a little bit about what we do, how we do it, and that's it. Thank you.
Now, that was good right there. But let me ask you this question, LeRoy. What are some of the misnomers and hurdles you got to get people over when they talk about health insurance when they come to you? You kind of hit on it a little bit, but what are some of the hurdles that come across to you when you're trying to get them to get the health insurance? What holds them back?
Two things typically hold people back. One is the fear of the unknown, meaning what is this really going to cost and can I afford it? Two, deductibles and terms that they don't understand. You will be surprised how many people have a health insurance card in their wallet and they will tell you, I don't know what co-insurance means and I don't know what I know copayment. Most of them know copayment, but they don't understand how co-insurance works. And so a confused mind always says no. So if you have people confused about something, that builds up resistance. So my goal is to make sure that I help them understand. And I'll ask them those questions. Do you understand how your co-insurer? No, I don't. It's okay. You will today. You will today. You will today. So it's just making sure they understand and that is some opportunities out here that's truly affordable.
And the thing is too, insurance, you talked about deductibles, is consistent with home insurance. You have a deductible. Auto insurance, you have a deductible. I don't think you can talk about deductibles enough, but explain to our audience exactly how the deductible works, especially when it comes to health insurance.
Yes, and so in my mind, I go, man, yeah, it's really simple. It's really clear. But I tell people, this is where you and the insurance company get to working out with one another. The deductible is the portion that you take care of before they step in and start doing their part. Same as the co-insurance, so it's a relationship. Your contract is truly with the insurance company. They make that clear to me as the broker, because some information I call and try to get, and they'll tell me, no, our relationship is with the client. They can call me. Thank you, Mr. Wilkerson. Have a good day. And in some cases that's good and some is not so great, but you have a contractual obligation with the insurance company. And then that deductible question you asked me, that's where it comes in. They say right up front, you pick your deductible and we'll tell you when we'll start playing ball with you. So the higher the deductible, typically the lower the premium, and vice versa. The lower the deductible, the higher the premium. So all you're doing is managing what it's going to cost you to go see Mr. or Mrs. Doctor. That's what you're really doing.
It's good that you said that too, because it's like that with home insurance, auto insurance, but even when you're talking about health insurance as well, because even from a personal standpoint, I talk to people, because I know enough about health insurance, is not to be dangerous, but they'll come in and ask me about it. But it's the same plight that they fall into. They want that, like I said, that lower rate, but then they get that high deductible. But then when something goes wrong, it seems like they don't understand the parameters of what they have done until.
They do not. Matter of fact, they'll call and they'll say, the insurance didn't pay anything. They didn't pay anything. I can't believe it. Why do I even have this? I may as well not got it. Matter of fact, I feel well. I'm sorry. But anyway.
Hey,
I'm not as sick as I was, right?
You preach.
I go, man, that was not the agreement. Let's talk about the agreement. The agreement is we looked at your budget first, you know, and when we follow your budget, that means, you know, yeah, it's great. You're overall in good health. Yeah, it's great. This is not going on. But when it's time for that plan to perform, they have a legal obligation to perform in the manner in which the agreement was. The problem becomes, or the challenge becomes, is do you truly understand that? And most of the time people say yes, but they really don't.
Right.
And because they think, oh yeah, nothing ever happened. I went to the doctor, I came back, and man, I had to pay $1,700. What is your deductible? I don't know. Let's start there. Now we look at the deductible. Oh, it's $5,000. Okay, well, you got a little ways to go. What? Man, that's just kind of how it is. And things have changed. And you know, and I know we kind of have a little fun with this stuff, but I'm old enough, and I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm 57. So I've been around long enough to where I have watched health.
Excuse me, LeRoy, you're going to have to show me your driver's license. I do not.
I have watched insurance change dramatically over the last 12, 15 years, dramatically. And if you do the math, I've only been in this agency about 10, 11 years now. But even before that, I've always had health insurance. And it used to be real simple. You have a simple deductible, simple copay, and you go there and you pay $10, $20, and then you're done. Right. Those days are just behind us now. They're behind us. They renegotiated.
I do have a question.
I'm sorry.
So are there any insurance plans where someone can pay a monthly premium, and say if they have to be hospitalized, do you have plans where, you know, 100% of the hospitalization is covered? Or is that there's still a deductible to meet? Even so, in every insurance plan today, is there a deductible to meet?
That's a hard question, Ross. Golly. So I'm going to say for the sake of this class, let's say yes. Is it feasible to get 100% participation from the insurance company, no deductible, no co-insurance, et cetera, et cetera? It is. You can conceivably do that if you wanted to do that. That is possible. That's a real tall, like, platinum order, but I can't say no, because I do know that they exist. But you rarely are going to sit down and have that conversation, because the difference in the cost of being able to do something like that is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, LeRoy, I might ask you this. I might pick the keyword. I might not piggyback. I might add on to what Roz just said. Talk to them about, you want to introduce their product in common, the supplemental insurance, which kind of will offset what Roz was just talking about if you don't have enough coverage. So kind of tell our audience about supplemental insurance that you and I both do.
Well, so there are some products in health insurance, and let's go exactly to where Roz was. So I can offer a product, and let's say we have your family, and your family is 4 people, and you all have a family deductible of, let's go ahead and use $12,000. Well, then we can bring in a supplemental plan, gap plan, that will cover 40, 50, 60, 80, 90, 100% of that amount. So now you just bought another insurance product to cover that. So then in essence, the net effect and the results would be exactly where Rosalind is talking about. You can insure that deductible with some supplemental products at a rate that makes sense. So you can say, hey, you know what? We got some safe money over here. We really like the premium on the deductible where it is, but we don't really want to pay that if something happens. So now we've got a little bit more help once that's executed to say, let's take care of some of that cost. And it's usually dramatically lower than just zeroing out the deductible on the premium on the plan itself. There is really a big difference. So most of the time, here's the deal with health insurance. most people never go into the hospital. Most people never go into the hospital. And if they do, in today's climate, most people don't spend the night. They get you in and they get you out. So the bigger stuff like that, to have it covered at 100% and about 70, 80% of the people are never going to use it, man, that's a win-win-win for the insurance company.
In fact, LeRoy probably can attest to this as well. Sometimes with some supplemental plans, you actually get paid for going to the doctor.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I love those. Can I tell you a story on that?
Yes, sir.
And if anybody want to send me a copy of that, I can. I went 2 years ago. I got plenty of client stories, but I'll just use my own. I went 2 years ago when I was 55, Roz. and it's a grown folks station, right? I had a colonoscopy done. And in the midst of the colonoscopy, they discovered a couple of polyps, right? So the polyps had to be removed. And once those polyps removed, that procedure went from being a outpatient procedure to where it was just a checkup to now actually a surgical procedure, right? Mm-hmm. So my plan was going to pay, for the colonoscopy in itself. And then it also will pay if there's any outpatient surgery, no matter what the outpatient surgery is. In this case, it just happened to be that, right? Mm-hmm. So when I went and had it done, because I had a supplemental plan, my plan was going to pay one thing, I think $700 toward it or something. And I paid to have it done. I think it's $1,300, $1,300. When I filed the claim on my supplemental insurance, they sent me a check for $5,300 for real.
Yep.
So the net effect was not $5,300. It was minus that $1,300. But at the end of the day, man, that worked out really well. One is that they caught him and they got him out. That was the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. But the other thing was that, I literally got paid to go to the doctor. And that's not what insurance is designed for. And I'm not implying that, because I tell people, if you're making money on the insurance company and they paying you, that means something has happened to you. They don't write those checks just free willy. So I don't say that as a plug to go do. I'm just saying some of the fears that we have about going and getting things done, if you're really educated on how to stack and put your insurance in place, then you can relax on that and know that it's not going to be a huge financial burden, that you've got some help that's going to come in. And what you want to do is make sure you get yourself healthy and well. And then once they do that, then because insurance is primarily designed to take care of the doctors and the hospitals. The supplementals come in to help offset that, or either to help you or both.
That's good. That's good, LeRoy. You mentioned about you primarily focus on entrepreneurs and small businesses. So for people like us, people like us that are in the industry and we're contractors or we have our own business. So how easy is it to get started on a plan if you have nothing at all and you're completely uninsured? Is there a way to bypass the health insurance and just focus on supplemental, or do they work in conjunction with each other? How does that work? Can you have one or the other, or just supplemental?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
So they work in tandem. They can work in tandem, and then some people choose to just have a plethora of supplementals stacked on top of one another that works as their plans. Matter of fact, when the Affordable Care Act came out back in 2010, part of the mandate in the ACA was that it was going to make insurance really affordable, and it did. It just didn't last. After about 3 or 4 years, things changed and the premiums kept going up and up and up and up and up. And then it got to be where premiums were just not affordable for everybody, and everybody couldn't qualify for a subsidy. So as a alternative, supplemental plans became very popular. I mean, very, very, very popular, because they allowed the flexibility and they allowed affordability. And when you talk about people that are entrepreneurs, self-employed, things like that, that don't have access to a corporate health plan where somebody is saying, oh, my company pays part of the premium, man, that's a big deal. And so it is a viable option, a phenomenal option. And so it made it to where, you know, yeah, you've got to answer a few health questions. They are looking for people that are overall in good health. You don't have to be in perfect health, but they're not going to be looking for people that have chronic illnesses, chronic diseases, and things like that on the onset. No different than when Chris is insuring a house or a car, you can't bring it to him already wrecked or the house already on fire. That's not going to really work. He's going to like, wait a minute, time out, stop. Get it, you know, you get it fixed or get somebody fixed. So the premiums are a lot lower. Mm-hmm. You do a little bit of underwriting and things like that, but it gives you options.
Well, Mr. LeRoy, talk to us about the American Rescue Plan. I know we kind of touched bases on that a little bit earlier, but we really need to. That's key. Can you kind of talk to the audience about that plan, which we could say the old Obamacare, the revised, like you say, the revised on steroid Obamacare? Yeah,
that's the term I use. So the American Rescue Plan, for this audience, it is a broad plan and it has a lot of layers to it on different things. And what I'll speak to is just that little slither that addresses the health insurance part. So it's not just health insurance. There's many facets to the American Rescue Plan. So let's talk about it on the health insurance end of it. What happened is that when it came out, they extended open enrollment right away and said, hey, if anybody needs to get health insurance right now to August 15th, you've got some options on the marketplace right now. No questions asked health-wise. So if you're currently pregnant, that's not a problem. You just lost your job, you missed your COBRA, you can still get on it no matter what. You're dealing with COVID, hey, you can still get on it. So it was very, very liberal, very broad. It opened up. But the other thing that they did was they expanded, how do I say this? They expanded who financially can qualify for subsidy if they wish to choose that option. The reason I say it like that, the marketplace has plans on the left and on the right. And on the left, they're subsidized. On the right, they're non-subsidized. The difference between that is on the right, if you get a non-subsidized plan, then you do not have to disclose any of your financial information. And your premium is not subsidized. You just go in and you just buy the plan. And I call that, hey, just go buy a plan. And that's just what it is. On the right, you can say, I have 4 people in my household. My total household income is $70,000. And then it'll come up with some factors and say, okay, your premium is this amount, but because your numbers come up to this, we're going to subsidize it. And then it'll be greatly reduced. They expanded it to where a lot of people now that are middle class can truly qualify for some of those subsidies if they choose to exercise it. And the reason I say that cautiously is because a lot of people will think that the only way you can get a marketplace plan is if you succumb to or you meet some kind of financial criteria. And that's just one side of it. It's not the whole, and that's always been the case from day one. That's always been the case. So some people would tell me straight up, oh yeah, I don't qualify for Obamacare. Yeah, if you're living, you qualify. If you're here in America, you qualify because, you know, of those criteria that has nothing to do with income unless you choose to go that route. That part just wasn't touted loudly because the subsidies are what would kind of fan the flame, if you would, on Affordable Care Act. That's what made it affordable. The insurance premiums weren't reduced, just what you actually pay for it becomes reduced. Did that answer?
Real quick, I have a quick question for you. Do they have like a part of the range of salary range for what's considered middle class, or can you go on a website to see that to see if somebody qualifies?
Yes, they do. So you can actually go on healthcare.gov and do that. Now, let me tell everybody about that before I shouldn't have said it, but I already said it. Cat's out of the bag. When you go to healthcare.gov, I'll tell you why. And you start filling out all that stuff, man, your phone's going to get beat to heck. I'm just telling you right now, and I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just saying be aware. They're going to send that number out to 800 million people, it seems like, and it's going to be a nightmare. So I tell people, hey, you probably don't want to go that route if you don't have to. But if you want to, that's what it's there for. I mean, that's really what it's designed for. Kaiser has a website that's a lot more friendly. I wish I had what that site was right now, but I know they do. And you can just go in there and plug and play, and you can put in numbers, and they can just say, hey, this is what they're not going to ask you for your phone number. Nobody's going to call you, and you can play with this amount, that amount, how many people in the household, etc. So there are some tools but you can call me. I'll get it to you. You can call me, and I'll get it to you. I got it.
Number.
That's better. 214-501-9613. 214-501-9613. That is my office number. You call me and then say, hey, I just want to get a link to that. I'll help you out with it.
You also, you said you were worked in 26 states. So do you work all those 26 states, or you in this on your own with this Wilkerson Insurance Agency?
So the answer is yes. I'm licensed in all those states, and I literally have clients in those states. I don't have the license just to have, because that stuff costs money, right? So I kind of alluded to it earlier. I said I mainly focus on small businesses, entrepreneurs, and things like that. Fortunately, a couple of years ago, 2018, I landed a client that has expanded their business quite a bit. And because I was already a part of it, I was fortunate to expand with them. And so that has been a huge blessing. And so that particular client far exceeds anything small.
Wow. So you have 13 agents that work under you in your agency? Okay.
Yes. So, I can't do it all. I didn't mean to imply that, but I do have the license. So I do have a team. We have a team. So if you go to my website, LeRoyWilkerson.com or WilkersonInsuranceAgency.com, there's team members, and we have them spread it out down in Houston, Waco, McKinney, up north in Denton, Flower Mound, Plano, Richardson, all around. Yep. We do.
So, LeRoy, I have a question. If you have someone that is about to retire, and where you're in corporate, they pay a sizable amount of your premium.
Mm-hmm.
So, would your plans and the supplemental plans being converged together be better than paying COBRA? I mean, do you have an example?
Absolutely. I bridge that gap all the time from 62 to 65, 63 to 65. You get people leaving much earlier now. And some people are leaving in 55 because their things are different and all that. So we're bridging the gap to Medicare. It's what we call that. We can always typically find some much more affordable options over COBRA. However, I'm always trying to make certain they need to really do that. Why would I do that? Because in some cases, COBRA is by far the better option. If you have somebody taking or have some health challenges, have some expensive prescription drugs, they got a lot of different things going on, that continuation of benefit will help them, go through whatever they need to go through the time, at least that they can. So there's time when I tell them, no, just go ahead and stay on your COBRA. And then when you have to come off, then we put you on a marketplace plan. The reason I don't rush to put them on a marketplace plan right away is because, and this is something nobody asked yet. I know one of y'all was going to ask me this question. I just hadn't got to it yet. I don't know how much time left. I'm not looking at a clock. But here's what happens on the marketplace plans. Because I tell people, you pick your president, I'll pick your health plan. So I don't get political about it. I just look at what it is for what it is. The marketplace plans, even though they're major medical plans, I'm talking Texas right now. This is a Texas audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the marketplace plans are Obamacare. No matter where you are in Texas, if you get one, the chances of it being an HMO and aligned with the marketplace is about 100%. What does that mean? That means when you go to a doctor or you go to a facility, they will have to be in that network. Typically no out of network. And then when you look at the money on that plan, if you don't qualify for a subsidy, and you put it alongside what that cost would be for COBRA, it's not going to look much different. And then your ability and quality of care could change substantially.
Okay.
Diminish it. I'm sorry, that's not to diminish it or shed a dark light on it. That's just to say what it is. Let's just say what it really is. So,
okay.
About PPO, HMO.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, Chris. That's what I was going to ask.
What's the difference between those? Because I mean, you have PPO, HMO, and then it's a new one where you have these physicians now. If you come to their office directly, they have some benefit. I actually had that from my office where I got an agreement with this physician here locally, and it's a phenomenal plan. They do the same thing as others. You are relegated to go to that particular physician, but it's a great plan. It's very economical. What is that one called?
I think that's direct care. Is that right? Your direct physician care or something like that's not really an insurance plan. That's an agreement between you and the physician. Mm-hmm. So no insurance company regulates that or have nothing to do with those. That's just you going in there and hooking up with the doctor. And they say, you pay me this much a month and you can come and call me as many times as you want to, blah, blah, blah. That's assurance, not insurance.
Gotcha. Okay.
You like that, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
I like that. That was catchy.
So let's go now to the portion about the difference between HMO and PPO.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So again, remember I tell you, I always try to make sure, I don't know if I said this to y'all, but I always try to make sure a fourth grader can understand what we're talking about so we don't miss anybody. So an HMO is primarily a plan that's going to have limitations and restrictions. Primarily a plan that's going to have limitations and restrictions. A PPO is going to be just the opposite. It's going to have very few limitations and very few restrictions. So let's go back to the HMO. The HMO, you'll have a primary care physician, and that primary care physician will act like the conductor of a band or something, and they'll dictate where you go, when you go, and who you go see. And you can't get past them. They are your gatekeeper. So any and everything you have to do, you go say, mother, may I, or father, may I. You can't just say, my neck hurting, I'm going to see this chiro over here, and expect the insurance company to pay for it. If it was not directed, you can go, but you'll be on your own. So you're grown, but you're on your own, right? So on that HMO, that's what I mean by the limitation. When you have a PPO, you pretty much are in the driver's seat, because even if you go out of network, they have out of network benefits in there. So you go see a doctor and they may say, hey, we ain't going to pay all of it, but we'll pay some of it. On HMO, they like, yeah, we're out. We're not paying any of it. And also on the PPO, you don't have to ask anybody which doctor you can go see. You just go see who you want to see, as long as they're in that PPO network. More doctors widely accept the PPO plans, and the PPO plans are not in the marketplace or on the Obamacare or the American Rescue Plan, whatever you want to term it now. And once you're on those plans through the marketplace, that network and the physicians and facilities that accept that plan are limited. They're limited. And that's just what it is. How did I do on that one?
Excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent.
All right. I'm ready for another question.
I'm trying to be quiet. I got plenty of questions. Kind of going back to supplemental you were talking about earlier.
Yes.
Talking about being an entrepreneur. A lot of entrepreneurs actually do that for their staffs and their employees because it is some benefits they can have from a tax standpoint if they actually do the supplemental plan and pay it for their employees. Is that correct?
So I try not to get into the tax conversation for reasons I'm not a tax guy or gal. And so, but let me say this, typically on the group plans, they have to have it up under what's called the Section 125 in order for them to realize exactly what you're talking about. And then that doesn't really matter if it's supplemental or the tradition. Some can be qualified or non-qualified. It depends on what the level of participation, because you have voluntary and involuntary benefits, right? Mm-hmm. So we could really get a little bit of deep with that, but I don't know that's where you want to go. If you do, we can, but I don't want to go over the audience by talking about something that really, like, even the business owner probably don't want to be in that conversation. He'd be like, oh, bring my CPA in there or my office manager in there, and then you talk to them, and then y'all figure it out and tell me what I got to write.
I need to do, right?
Yeah, because
let's keep it fourth grade, not calculus. Then let's keep it fourth grade.
Exactly.
Well, LeRoy, you said that you also, you just everything that you talked about, the underlying, the things that just the conjunction, the things that just merges all of what you're talking about together is deals with the education aspect, teaching and coaching and making sure people understand, your level of communication to get people to understand, which is part of the battle of when you don't move forward with something, or you don't go to the doctor, or you don't do whatever, we're doing it because we don't know enough, or we're it's what our past knowledge is, or we heard about something. But sounds like your foundational piece of what you're offering is communication and effective information that will allow people to actually make an informed decision where they have a better understanding. And I really do appreciate that about what you're doing, because it aligns with what we're doing in relationship to making sure the community understands more about what the offerings are in relationship to health insurance. And, as Chris is constantly blanketing our listeners with information about auto and all the different coverages that he's done, it's really good to do these types of collaborations in relationship to insurance. So if someone is out there right now and they're listening and they don't know what they don't know if they want to move forward, they don't know if they can afford, what are you open up to teaching and coaching, and how does that platform work if somebody wanted to reach out to you? Are you open to that? If they're not, they might not be paying customers, they might not be ready. What's your take on that? What's your perspective about that?
Yeah. So thank you for asking that. A couple of things. One is that, yes, I am open to that. That's how most of the time people hesitate on things because they don't understand them, and they don't know who to go to, and they don't know who to trust. So let me just say this, and I'm not saying this about me to make me stand up. I'm just telling you what they experience. Most of the time when people get calls, they get calls on their phone and people trying to sell them health insurance, and they hate it. Most of the time they see a commercial and they know, and they call that place, and then they just get peppered with calls and texts, and just somebody just bombarded. Hey, you're going to buy today. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And so that's discouraging and disheartening. And so it puts like a bad taste out there. Like, man, I don't want to do that, because all day on the phone is just trying to sell you something. And my goal is, when you go on my site, I have a link for Calendly, and it says a discovery conversation. We have a 30-minute discovery conversation where we tell you in that link, we will not ask you to buy anything at all during that conversation. We're just going to simply talk to you about where you are and where you're trying to go and what your options are. And we're not the only ones in town. I tell people, it's really good to have somebody that that you like, and you trust, and that, that's where you want to be on it. But I love to do it. I love what I do. I'm passionate about it, but I really want to make sure somebody just know that you got to ask the questions, know what questions to ask, and then know who the person is, what they're about. Are they involved in the community? Are they around the community? Because it's tons of agents out there. I mean, it really is. But do they care? So find somebody that care. And so your first thing, whoever you call, just find out how much they really care about what they're trying to do with you. It's okay that we make money in what we do, and we can't survive if we didn't, right? There's no way if you don't do that. You got to be profitable, and I don't think anybody has a problem with that. But you want the juice to be worth the squeeze, right? If I'm going to sit here and do business with you, then what is your offering, and what is it you're trying to do? You're trying to just push a product, or you're trying to really understand where I am? My goal has always been to educate and build clients, and not have just a customer. I need a client. I need somebody that says, no, I'm relying on you. I'm counting on you. I'm looking up to you. Well, that's heavy. So in order to do that and be that and embrace that, it takes a lot of work. And sometimes I miss. I really do. Sometimes I miss, but not very often, because I'm committed to making certain that they understand. And it can be other people that do the same thing. So I'm telling you, if you don't call me, then at least take a look at this and listen to this and say, what do I need to go look for when I call the other person or persons? And if they're not giving you that, then keep looking till you find that. So that way you'll be really, really happy, and you'll save money, you'll save time. And then your experiences about health insurance will really change. It really will.
LeRoy, I have a question, and thank you for that information. If as entrepreneurs, small business owners, if we wanted to, as a perk, offer health insurance to our employees, or better yet, like for real estate, our agents are independent contractors.
Yes.
In many cases, they don't have health insurance. So would it be beneficial to formulate a plan whereby, as a broker, we don't have, the agents are not our employees. So do you have a plan that, based on a certain number of independent contractors, where you have an offering that's tiered, so to speak? Say if there are 5, then you grow to 20, then you grow to 50 or 100. Do you have a plan where they can at least get, what do you call it? Just the well care?
Yes. How about that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you able to talk about a range, or like if somebody have, like, they want to get a flu shot, they got a cold, or they want to get a women's checkup, or send their kids to get their immunizations, and get the annual physical? What type of plan do you have for that?
So let's look at it this way. So yes, I do have plans that I can help your brokerage with, or somebody like that has 3 brokers under them, or 5 agents up under them, or 20 or 200 or 2,000. Seriously, I do have that to where it really makes sense. But I was listening to what you said about the things you want and need the plan to do. So you said, go get their well woman's check, go get immunizations, things like that. So part of my education is this. Yes, there are plans that do that, but man, I promise you, take it from me, that is not a reason to buy a health insurance plan. You do not need to buy a health insurance plan to go to the doctor once or twice a year. Anybody can go to the doctor once or twice a year. You can really afford to do that by far more than you can to buy a health insurance plan. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So just having a plan just to go there, I really don't think that's the best use of somebody's money. Now, if you get a plan that has some catastrophic care in there, if you have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, hospitalized, bad car wreck, those are the things that's going to jeopardize your wealth and bankrupt you and cause a challenge. So if it has some elements of that in there, and then, oh yeah, go get your check here, go do this, go do that, as a byproduct, then that's more of a viable way to kind of look at it. Again, I go back to my analogy, the juice being worth the squeeze. There are some medical discount plans you can buy out there that are not health insurance. There is the direct care physician, like Chris was talking about. There are things like that. There are many different things. There are some sharing, Christian sharing plans out there. There's a lot of different things that you can go out and kind of do. But I always say it's math, it's not magic, right? It's math, it's not magic. What does it cost to get something like that done? And then what do you need to pay for somebody else to pay for that for? My cell phone, I never insure cell phones. I don't care how much I pay for the cell phone. I'm not going to insure it because number one, I ain't going to lose it or break it. I never have and I won't. But if I did, fortunately, I can go buy another one. So why would I buy insurance for that? So if it's something you are in a position to take care of, insurance companies are designed to keep you from hurting yourself financially. Mm-hmm. That's what they're there for. So if it's not something that can really hurt you, then I don't know that Chris or I need to make a profit off of something like that. Right. Would you agree, Chris?
I agree. And kind of going back to what you're saying, LeRoy, too, we keep hearing talking about supplemental plans, but like what you're talking about, Roz, potentially, of course, LeRoy and I would have to have a discussion with educate and have a communication about it. But a lot of times what you're talking about, supplemental plans can be a good outlet for what you're talking about. But that'd be the conversation you have to have,
and we can, but even on those supplemental plans, let's say if you got one and it was $80 a month for a family of 4,
right?
If it's something like that, then that might make sense, and that's all it's going to do. But again, is that what you really needed to do? So that's where that discovery conversation comes in at. But yes, Roz, those plans are out there and people sell them and people do them. I just always want to make sure that when you put the dress on, you like the way you look in it.
And you said your health is your wealth. Yes. That's a key and profound statement, because if you're not healthy, you can lose your wealth. Kind of going like what he was just saying before. And I'm not sure if this is the right percentage. Now you can correct me, LeRoy, if I'm right or wrong, but usually for your regular healthcare plans, they normally only cover up like 40 or 50% of your medical bills. Sometimes, when you go to the doctor, you pay it, and also you get, like, I got a phone call yesterday. They said, the insurance company sent it back. You owe another $24 for your dental cleaning. I said, what's that for? That's not that big, but depending on what kind of procedure you get done, some people that $24 be $2,400, and if you don't have a backup plan or something to kind of offset that, right, then you got to either dip into your savings, or you're going to start dipping into some other things, maybe your 401k. So once you start doing those things, then you're going to hurt yourself financially, wealth, because you're trying to keep out of the resources you had allotted for something else.
Right.
Well, I would have to say, Roz, I think you're in the right direction. With things, we never know what's going to happen. When we prepare for them, I'm one of those individuals that were preparing for, those basic self-care. Going to your self-pay, getting the discount for self-pay. Because I've never really had medical issues. I've gone to my annual exams and rarely ever sick over all of these years. And to start to see issues and the writing on the wall as I get older and some unexplainable things, and you start to wonder what's going on with these symptoms. And when you start adding them up and they start accumulating, you start deciding, well, maybe I need to revisit this. So revisiting it is what LeRoy, I came to the table with LeRoy, and we worked out a plan that was going to work for me to address some things that were starting to happen. So just to get ahead of it, I would suggest anybody just have that conversation and talk about what, like you said, those discovery conversations, and see where you are in a customized way, just structured around my specific situation, and then that's what he did for me personally, and that has been recently. So I'm in a better position for medical treatment for whatever's happening in my life now than I was if I look back in the past year. I wasn't ready. So thank you, LeRoy Wilkerson.
Awesome.
Mr. LeRoy, I know we were getting ready to probably wrap it up in a little bit, but I know we talked about, the HMOs and the American Rescue Plan. And I know that we also talked about PPO opportunities. And I know, and I'm sure when we talk about that, and I don't want to say that PPO may be a better, but I know it gives you more opportunity because it opens up a whole broader opportunity for you to get care. Do your portfolio offer, and I'm sure it does, but I wanted you to kind of touch on that briefly, that you do have those opportunities that you don't have to choose the HMOs, and there are PPO opportunities that you can provide that's affordable as well. Can you touch on that just briefly, maybe what you do have in your portfolio when it comes to PPOs?
Yeah, so yes, thank you. There's a couple of different options that we have in our portfolio. One of them I'm not a huge fan of, but it's phenomenal, and it's there for those that it fit. And that's all the carriers, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, etc. They offer what's called short-term medical plans. They're not on the marketplace, and all of those short-term medical plans are PPOs. None of them are HMOs. They do come and have start and stop dates. So they go from 30 days up to 300 days, and they have PPOs in them, and you can choose different networks that you want to participate in. And so it usually makes a good fit for a short term. The downside of those plans is if in the midst of you having that plan, you have an event or an occurrence, and then that plan expires, you have to requalify for it health-wise. And so it's kind of like it could put you in a situation you really didn't want to be in. So if you're really getting it for what it was truly intended to be and to gap you from one plan to the next plan, then that works out great. The other option I have is I have what's called a defined benefit plan. And that defined benefit plan has a PPO network in it. It has a nationwide PPO network in it through PHCS. And so it gives you the flexibility to go see any doctor anywhere that you want to. And it's available in all 50 states. And so that's what allows me to be out there. And so you can get a PPO, and you can still get a PPO network. You can get really good, low, affordable rates. And you have the flexibility to go and do what you want to do. The other benefit of that plan is if for some reason the doctor is not, or the facility is not in that network, the plan still pays the same. It pays the benefit in network or out of network, and you don't get penalized for it. So that way you lose the comfort of them filing the claim for you just because they weren't in the network, but you don't lose the money that the insurance company was obligated to pay because you had that visit. And I like that a lot. I like that idea a lot. And so back to what Roz asked about coming in and looking at small groups or businesses that have, entrepreneurs, 1099 people. I go in and I put stuff like that in place for them all the time, because then it doesn't lend the employer to have to participate in the premium. And then it allows the employee the flexibility to get it. And then if they go do something else, it's portable and affordable. They can take it.
Hey, LeRoy, I want to thank you for being on the show. I told you that hour will come real quick. You see how quick it is? We're going to run over a little bit. We're going to start a round robin here real fast. Bottom of my heart, man. We have a health insurance agent on here. It's been phenomenal. And we're going to start a round robin with Long Linus. We're going to close out with this Rob. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, once again, everybody, thank you for tuning in. And Mr. LeRoy, thank you. I mean, the information that you provided is invaluable. So thank you. Thank you. Valuable. I'm sorry, I say invaluable, but very much valuable. Shut up, Chris. But I'm Rhonda Hutchison. I'm the Lone Lioness. I'm with PRMG. I'm a residential mortgage lender. I roar with passion and power. So please give me a call at 214-856-3747. Let's link arms together and bridge the gap between renting and home ownership. And let's get that generational wealth. Miss Roz? Okay, Miss Mel?
Okay, Roz was on mute. Hi, guys. I'm so happy that LeRoy Wilkerson, my friend, was able to come on the show and provide some valuable information as well. Thank you, LeRoy. Melanie Williamson signing out. Credit education, credit restoration. You can reach me at 469-403-8394 for consultation and credit education. Ross? Uh-oh.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah, that's the anchor. That's the big dog. But my name is Chris Ziegler with the Ziegler Agency Allstate. And like I said, that hour went by fast because I had some questions about prescriptions. We didn't get to people were texting. So it's a whole bunch we could have gotten to. We're going to have to look forward to having you on again.
Yes.
Chris Ziegler, the Ziegler Agency Allstate, located in Frisco, Texas. And I can be reached at 214-770-4269. Last now, and we can go to LeRoy, and then Roz is going to close us out.
Thank you guys for having me. 214-501-9613. 214-501-9613. LeRoy Wilkerson, taking the hell out of health insurance.
I like that.
I love it. So what I was doing was triple multitasking, trying to fill the comments and get everybody's contact information in. So if you don't mind, one of you please put Chris's information in. I did already put LeRoy's in early, including the website. But I'm Roz Booker, principal broker, CEO. They call me Roz B, Ask Roz B. And we birth dreams and build legacies in real estate. Just released an ebook. It's only $2.99. It does answer a problem in today's seller's market, how to buy a home. In the seller's market, the 22 strategies to win the bidding war. Look for it. Rosalind Booker as the author on Amazon. Gift it to someone, pay it forward. We're doing it, once a week, twice a week. We're helping people get into their dream home. So that's all we have time for today. And we look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you so much, LeRoy. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.